Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle one of the absolute most frustrating silent profit killers out there in retail, warehousing, and manufacturing. I'm talking about ghost stock. You know the drill, right? Your system tells you there are 20 units sitting right there on the shelf. A customer places an order, you walk to the back, and the shelf is completely empty. It's maddening. That discrepancy triggers false reorders, it sends your angry shoppers straight over to your competitors, and it quietly just eats away at your margins every single month it goes undetected. So today, we're upgrading how we think about inventory accuracy. We're moving past the old clipboard and spreadsheet headaches to explore how modern operations are actually solving this mystery once and for all.
Now, to put this into perspective, the sheer scale of the problem is pretty staggering. According to retail operations research, businesses that rely purely on periodic, manual stock counting carry a massive inventory record inaccuracy. We're talking typically somewhere between 10 and 30% at the SKU level. 30%. That means up to a third of your inventory records could literally be lying to you at any given moment. And routine counting? It rarely catches this because it only checks a quantity at a single point in time without ever looking at the underlying process.
So, let's dive into part 1, the mystery of the vanishing parts. To really understand how this happens on the floor, let's look at a super relatable case study. Take Ravi Kumar, a parts manager at a VMC Royal Enfield dealership. By traditional metrics, Ravi was doing everything right. He was proactively running consistent weekly cycle counts. But let's look at how the timeline actually played out. Week 1, his cycle counts came back close enough to the expected numbers that nothing raised a red flag. But fast forward to month 3 and month 6. A broader audit finally pulled his movement history and cross-checked it against his receiving records. And suddenly, this hidden pattern emerged. A specific category of fast-moving parts had a small, repeated variance every single cycle. Now, it wasn't big enough to catch his attention in any one week, but it was consistent enough to add up to a very real, very painful financial loss over several months.
Which brings us to part 2, the core concept, counting versus auditing.
So, how in the world could Ravi count his stock every single week, but still lose money to missing inventory? Well, the answer lies in the fundamental difference between two concepts that businesses often mistakenly treat as exactly the same thing. Stock counting simply answers what? It's just the physical act of verifying how many units of an item you have on hand right now. It's a tactical check. A stock audit, on the other hand, answers why. An audit is a structured review of your entire inventory process. It asks whether the methods producing your numbers can actually be trusted. Like, are these discrepancies happening because of theft, damage, or maybe receiving errors? Look at it this way. Counting tells you that you're short by 12 units. Auditing tells you that you're short every month on the exact same 3 SKUs, and it traces that leak straight back to the receiving dock.
All right, moving to part 3, the tipping point.
So at what point do you actually need to upgrade from just having your team count boxes to implementing a full-blown audit workflow? The sources point to 5 clear giveaways that it's time for an upgrade. First up, your weekly counts seem totally accurate, but your year-end numbers never actually match. Second, you're seeing the exact same SKUs showing small variances every cycle, just like Ravi did. Third, you've never been able to trace a variance back to its root cause, meaning you have no clue if it's damage or just a miscount. Fourth, you've got multiple people touching inventory but absolutely no audit trail of who did what. And fifth, you're prepping for a compliance review, an insurance claim, or investor due diligence. If any of those sound remotely familiar, counting alone is definitely no longer protecting your business.
Let's get into part 4, the 7 best retail inventory audit platforms. Okay, let's look at some practical solutions here. The old days of pausing all your operations for a massive warehouse shutdown with clipboards, yeah, those are over. Today's modern software replaces manual spreadsheet reconciliation with mobile devices, barcode scanning, and cloud dashboards that actually validate counts as they happen. To give you a structured overview of this landscape, we can kind of categorize these tools based on their scale and functionality. Take a look at how they differ fundamentally based on what they're best for, whether they support offline mode, which by the way is absolutely critical if you're counting in a basement storage room with 0 Wi-Fi, and their depth of cycle counting features. Let's quickly walk through the 7 best platforms highlighted in the research.
First up is Stockount. What makes this platform really unique is that it is purpose-built specifically around the audit workflow. It's not just a general inventory tool with an audit feature bolted on as an afterthought. It's the go-to specialist for multi-location teams, distributors, and manufacturers that need frequent, structured stock audits. It seamlessly handles offline counting, real-time variance detection, and it layers right on top of your existing ERP or accounting system like Zoho or Odoo.
Now, if you want a highly visual approach, Sortly is incredibly easy to onboard. This photo-based inventory tracker is massively popular with small, single-location retailers or field teams who just want straightforward stock visibility without dealing with a steep learning curve or crazy complex reconciliation workflows.
For the e-commerce sellers out there managing stock across multiple channels at once, Finale Inventory is tailored right for you. Its biggest strength lies in syncing your stock accuracy closely with online order fulfillment across platforms like Amazon, Shopify, and QuickBooks, all while supporting flexible barcode setups and restock forecasting.
If you operate as a small wholesaler or distributor, Inflow Inventory really hits the sweet spot. It brilliantly bridges the gap between simple tools and complex ERPs by giving you very clean purchase order to receiving workflows. It even includes a built-in B2B customer ordering portal right alongside its barcode stock control.
Next up, when your inventory management has to connect directly to the production line, Fishbowl Inventory is an absolute powerhouse. It bundles your audit capabilities with really deep production tools, work order management, bills of materials, and some heavy-duty QuickBooks synchronization. If budget and integration are your primary concerns, Zoho Inventory is a highly accessible, cloud-based pick for small to mid-size retailers. It offers a super clean, easy-to-learn interface, and it makes perfect sense if your business is already operating within or even just open to the broader Zoho ecosystem, like Zoho Books or their CRM. And finally, for growing, multi-channel retailers and wholesalers requiring heavyweight capabilities, we have Sin 7 Core. This option is aimed at businesses that don't just need auditing, but require broad warehouse automation, guided picking, demand forecasting, and an entire ecosystem of over 200 integrations to manage complex operations.
Let's wrap up with part 5, the ultimate payoff. Look, once you're managing more than a few hundred SKUs, or you're trying to audit on a weekly or monthly basis, upgrading to the right audit software isn't just an expense, it's a massive operational investment. It pays for itself rapidly through huge labor savings, eliminating those manual transcription errors, and most importantly, providing proactive shrinkage detection. You get to catch the slow leaks before they completely drain your margins.
I want to leave you with a quick gut check based on everything we've covered in this explainer. If someone asked you right now, today, could you state your stock variance trend over the last 6 months and explain exactly where the missing stock went? Really think about it. If you can't answer that question in under 5 minutes, you might be counting your inventory, but you certainly aren't auditing it. It's time to finally find out what's really happening on your shelves.